So, you've taken first grade math, right? See these little things floating around? These things called operators? Then you know about these things, right? Greater than, less than, more than or equal to? Good, let's get right into it then. Those things I just showed you are relational operators, the younger siblings of normal operators that do nothing but compare things and tell people what's better than what. Basically Reddit. Moving on. A relational expression has two operands and one operator. Most of the time the value of the expression is Boolean, meaning it is either true or false. But there are other languages, like C, that doesn't include a Boolean type in their language. Instead, they yield a value of 1 or 0. In the example expression, if we were to say if A is less than B, then the expression has a value of 0, meaning it is false. If it were the other way around, it would be 1 for true. Let's look at the other operators we'll be dealing with, shall we? Most of the time, we will be using these. Now, this isn't the same between all languages. Thanks to the different paradigms and necessities for each specific language, there are a plethora of different ways for operators to be presented. All of them are different, although similar. Heck, some of them outright don't have them. Early Fortran only had the equals operator. On the subject of equality, different programming languages also differ in terms of equality and inequality. Some added their own operators, like PHP and JavaScript, which included equals 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 and not equals equals to avoid coercion. Most of them have their own niche uses, like how Ruby uses equals equals, which deals with coercion, and EQL to avoid coercion. Now let's discuss Boolean expressions. Boolean expressions are similar to relational expressions in which they are both result into a Boolean value, but the main difference is the usage of Boolean operators, which are the following. Moving on to the subject of precedence, if you had the code like this, how would it work? Well, the levels of precedence for operators goes like this: arithmetic, relational, and Boolean. Arithmetic being the highest while Boolean is the lowest. Let's move on to short-circuit evaluation. So, what is short-circuit evaluation? Well, it's basically where if the outcome is already determined, then it will no longer have to check the other expressions. The program will stop evaluating if a value is already determined. Here's an example. It's 2006 and you're in 4th grade and you've just been given a math test with 110 problems, with 30% of the test requiring you to show your solution. You blitz through the test and reach the last part, which is a multiple choice segment, but you only have 10 minutes left. You scan through the options from A to D and find that A is the correct answer. Would you still look at the rest of the choices and use up your precious time? I probably would, because I'm an anxiety-filled goblin. Your ID wouldn't though, so it immediately moves on to the rest of the script, or in this case, the next question. Let's use a programming example rather than an example coming from 4th grade algebra. Since this expression only uses the OR operator, and only one of these need to be determined as true, if A is equal to B is true, then it skips over C is equal to D and E is equal to F, because you already have the answer. Another example, but this time with the AND operator. Since this expression only uses the AND operator, then if the first value is determined as false, then the rest will also be determined as false. Therefore, we can skip the rest of the values. Not all operators are short-circuited though. Rather, most operators are not short-circuited. Double ampersand and double pipe have their own bitwise versions, which are single ampersand and single pipe. What's the difference other than being one character short? Other than turning it into a non-short circuit evaluation, well, it would be this.